We got the bag. And if you're saying we talking about this man right here. We got a jersey on over there. Come on now. My pick, Boy Green's pick for the best jet is now secured. Secured just 24 hours later than another jet who is in the running for best jet getting secured. So what does that mean overall? It means the future. The future, the foundation has been built. It is time to celebrate. It is time to rejoice. Come on, rejoice with us. It's Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in. Yeah.
Okay, let's go! J-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! J-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! There you go,
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
meets Wudi. Welcome to a chipper, a joyous episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Right here is that boy who became king. He is rocking right now. He is rocking the fresh legacy white Sauce Gardner jersey. Allow me to introduce to y'all Mr. Paul Esden Jr. How are you doing, my good sir?
You know, my favorite part about this business, Wudi, I did it in radio for 10 years, and I love when we do it on a digital show. We plan things. What are we going to talk about on Tuesday? What are we going to talk about on Thursday at 3 o'clock? Okay, let's cobble something together. All right, there's the plan. And then, Wudi, the beautiful thing is that out of nowhere, RKO. No, out of nowhere, what can happen here on the show is you get new information. And Saucy got the bag. I mean, it is chef's kiss. We didn't even get a chance to talk to people between the Garrett signing and the Jets. Whoa, Jets, slow your roll down. Help a Boy Green meets Wudi, brother, out for God's sake. But we appreciate you nonetheless getting this right in before our show today so we could break the news, react to it live, and all that jazz. So I'm fired up, Wudi. Our foundational pieces of this roster are being extended for the long term, for the foreseeable future, and that's a great place to be as a fan.
Absolutely. You know, this is a sign of a competent franchise. Like that's what competent franchises do. They draft premium talent and they retain and develop that premium talent. So this goes a long way into ensuring that is something that can happen. And I want to say the most beautiful part about it is that we got one guy from both sides of the ball, right? So a defensive cornerstone to already go along with Quinnen, right? You know, Quinnen was extended as well. So we're talking about long term. We got two foundational pieces there, the offensive piece in Garrett, and that iron sharpens iron that has happened their whole careers of Sauce covering Garrett and them just making each other better. That's a relationship that, you know, was covered in Hard Knocks, covered at One Jets Drive, and we're going to continue to cover it through 2030 because, you know, these guys, you know, now we can almost say, like, you know, we're in the Sauce Garrett Wilson era. You know, this isn't just, you know, a stop or a blip on the radar. So many Jets, right? They get drafted. You know, they could have a flash in the pan type moment like Elijah Moore or, you know, Chosen Anderson, you know, people hyping up on them. But no, this is an era. This is okay, rookie deal +4 of two of the most dynamic players in the league at their position. I mean, I don't know how anyone could feel less than overjoyed at this situation that we're in with these two guys.
It is official. We'll continue to give details because this news literally broke before the show. But officially, if you want to crown them, they can crown their ass. Well, Sauce Gardner is the highest paid corner in football. That title has traded hands 3 times this offseason. J.C. Horn became the highest paid corner at 25 mil. Derek Stingley said, hold my beer, and he got it at 30. And now Sauce Gardner just above. His official deal is 120.4 million. So it's a few pennies. It looks like $100,000 each of the years of the extension to go just above Derek Stingley of the Houston Texans, who signed that 3-year deal for $90 million on top of what he already had. So he becomes the highest paid. To me, this was the easiest contract out of all the contracts we were talking about, which again surprised me that Garrett ended up getting paid first. John, we'll get you that info soon. Is Sauce locked up for 6 seasons? I'm seeing here from ESPN that Sauce Gardner, is tied to the team through 2030. So if I'm doing my math, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. If that is true, I believe that's the 6 years, but we'll let you know because the details are coming in live as they are. So I believe Wudi is correct. I believe it's the 4+2, which is the same thing Garrett got, but we'll let you guys know that when that's official. Or if you guys see news, super chat it in from Schefter or Rappaport as we're live here on the program, and you guys are finding out new information as we're here on the show. Feel free to share that in. But right now it's 120.4 million, which again, essentially pennies. It's not quite pennies, but it's pennies, the equivalent more than Derek Stingley, which makes him the highest paid corner in football. And again, this is just exciting, Wudi. The first move was Jamie and Sherwood in free agency. People forget about that one, but he would have been a free agent and lost. Top 5 highest paid linebacker in football. Garrett Wilson, a top 5 highest paid wide receiver in football, and Sauce the number 1 paid corner in football. This new regime has not been afraid to light money on fire, but to pay their own. And if you're going to pay money, these are the players you want to pay, the foundational pieces of your roster.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. I think that was one criticism of Joe Douglas was, he was my man's was a little cheap. He was always shopping at Temu, for these different solutions. So to see Darren Muzi, in the first few months break the bank, and like you said, we top 5 highest paid in 3 different positions, including number 1 at one position. He's not afraid to spend. And on top of that, what you just said is that it's our own guys, the homegrown talent, the established locker room leaders who are getting these bags. Again, that's just how competent franchises are run. If you look around the league, that is how they're built, is by rewarding your homegrown guys, the guys that have been in the building, the guys that the players already respect. So I can't lie. If we're grading, Darren Muji right now, and I've seen a couple of comments like that. I mean, he did the necessary things right now, securing the future. And that was something that used to be a question with this team time and time again. Oh, are they going to, re-sign this player? And they're, the Jets, it's not like, it's been completely, terrible player. Leonard Williams is out here still balling, right? We've had plenty of great players or good players that, we just let walk for cheap or try to, trade for a 3rd or 2nd round pick. So I remember the real concern or the question of, is Quinnen going to get that extension? Like, the Jets have a terrible history of re-signing players. Now, with what we've seen in this one offseason with Darren Muji, with Sherwood, Sauce, Garrett, not in that order, now we can say with confidence, like, okay, if you play like Jermaine, I've seen a couple of comments in here. Is AVT next? Is Jermaine next? Is Brees next? Right? Those guys can now have that confidence that, hey, if I ball out, they're keeping me here, and that was not something that I think any Jet could say for the last 15 or so years.
And that's the perfect way to put it. That is 1,000% the perfect way to put it. And I will add in this. So again, new details are continuing to come in. Here's one from Jordan Schultz. Sauce Gardner's new contract will allow him to earn $85.6 million in total guarantee. So that is just a few shekels short of Garrett Wilson, who had $90 million guaranteed. So when people are asking, so what's the difference between the two deals? I'll give a shout out here to the Jet Press. I'm waiting to confirm it with other people as we're live here on the show, but I'll give the Jet Press credit as we currently have it up here. Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner's extensions don't kick in until 2027, which means they would play out their rookie contracts and the fifth-year option. So to Woody's point, 6-year deals for both of them, and essentially the contracts are the same. Garrett Wilson, 6 years, $150.3 million. Gardner, 6 years, $151.23 million. It is a $25 million per year average across the entire length of the deal. But these numbers that are coming out, Woody, as we talked about with Garrett, is that the new money is $32.5 million per year, which puts him in the top 5. Sauce Gardner's new money makes him the highest paid corner in football. So it's, long story short, it's unlikely that both of these deals go all the way through their 6 years before we're talking again. Naturally, there's going to have to be a correction in a couple of years. But the good news is that they're under contract. They're here for the foreseeable future. And like I said, we'll continue to hit those details as they pour in here. And John saying, like, is this year's cap affected? Again, it's way too early to be able to talk about that. We need the full details out on front loading, back loading, things of that nature. We won't be, to be candid, there's no way we're going to be able to do it on this show. Those numbers are not going to come out quick enough where we're able to talk about that. But here's the thing, Woody, because I don't want to mention this guy's name, so I won't mention the name. But like last year, we were dealing with contract holdouts. This year, we're standing on business, as Darren Mucci likes to say, the Moodster. Okay? That getting our priorities in order. And the other thing I love, Woody, because and let me make sure I get this right. What was your perception of Aaron Glenn when he was hired? You loved it. You thought it was perfect. You hated it. You were in the middle. Where were you on Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci when they were
hired? Well, different. I felt different about about them.
Okay.
You said Aaron Glenn first, so we'll go with
Sure.
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Aaron Glenn, I felt good. Like, Bill Parcells is a great coach. To come from there, and former Jet, all that type of stuff. So the story is there. The story is there. But I couldn't shake the whole, first time, DC turned first time head coach, kind of doing the same thing, and calling it different. That's with AG. So I was good. I was feeling optimistic, but definitely not, sleeping at night like this.
Right.
Darren Mucci, we actually had the opportunity before we even knew how high of a prospect he was. We got to speak with our guy, Benjamin Albright, the NFL insider who knows Darren personally. And, after we got off that episode, I said, damn, maybe I feel like it would be pretty solid if he was the guy, And then, boom, he's the guy, somebody who's been a scout for, many, many years, former QB, knows the game at a high level, and has, great relationships in this league. So I kind of had high standards. I mean, with them both being former scouts, and just kind of getting on the alignment, because it seemed like and this is another thing, seemed like they had their guy, and we don't know the whole story, but to me, if Woody's out here connecting the dots, it's like AG was like, hold on now, let's see if we can do something else, and it seemed like him and Mucci are on that alignment together.
Yes,
former scouts looking at the game the same way. I mean, that's what you want, even if it's not the best of the best plan. What you want in an organization is that alignment so that you can get the best of that plan, if that makes any sense. So that's what I see here, and that's what has been carried out so far. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, and that's a super long way to say to your question that I was, not super high on AG, but I was super high on Darren Mucci.
You're not the only one, but I wanted to make sure I didn't put words in your mouth and just assume what I thought I remembered about it before. So I wanted to make sure we recap. And again, those two things are big things. A defensive guy, every head coach that Woody Johnson has hired, not named Adam Gase, was a defensive guy. And then not a first-year guy. Adam Gase was the only non first year guy. A lot of the other guys, he was a non first year guy. Everyone else was first year guys coming through in all of these different scenarios. So there was hesitancy, which again makes sense from you or anyone else for that matter. The thing that makes me feel good, because those concerns are to me legitimate. They're legit. First year, I have no idea how Aaron Glenn's going to do. But who knows? It's you don't know how someone's going to respond to the moment until they're sitting in the chair. Now, I thought Robert Sala was going to be great. Was that wrong? Okay, so we thought certain things here, there, or the other. The other thing I like, and you mentioned, traits that you love to see about the messaging and what you want to see. What I want to see is honesty. I want honesty. Now, there's always coach speak at press conferences and things, but one of their foundational principles that they told us, Darren Mucci told us, and Aaron Glenn said, we want to draft players, we want to develop players, and we want to maintain those players. We don't want them good players walking out the door. Now, obviously, these guys were just hired 6 months ago, so they weren't, drafting anybody yet that they're making contract decisions on. But that Aaron Glenn, Darren Mucci went, whoa, hey now, this Jamin Sherwood guy. I know we didn't draft him, but whoever did, thank you. We'll sign that guy. Garrett, Sauce, and all these other players, and more to come, perhaps. I'm seeing people asking, trying to push the story forward. Who's next? And we'll get to that before the end of the show. But I love the honesty. They said it was important, and then they delivered, and they did it. This was the first offseason that Sauce and Garrett, we'll talk about those two since those were the two that were extended, were eligible for new deals. The Jets didn't have to acquiesce to those, and we've had debates on the show about whether they should exercise their right to extend those players or not, and they chose to extend them. Okay, Aaron Glenn, as far as I'm concerned so far, is a man of his word. I've talked about it before, that people in my life and my football team I view the same way. Everyone in my life starts at zero. When good shit happens, they go plus. When terrible shit happens, they go negative. So Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci to me came in at zero. Now, some Jet fans don't do that. They've been hurt so much that, sorry, coach, you're starting at negative 50. You got to work your way back up. You got to prove to me that you're the guy or this or that. For me, I start out everyone at zero. And just everything AG's done this offseason, for the most part, a couple of like cutting Thomas Morstead, I was like, okay, that feels like a dick move. Felt like totally unnecessary for no reason, but okay. So there's a couple of moves. I haven't loved exactly everything they've done, but for the most part, they've been men of their words, and that part I have to respect.
I couldn't, and I know this show usually has us pitted against each other, but hey,
Sure.
when good things happen, we start to celebrate. But I literally couldn't agree more, because as soon as you said it, my mind started going to all the lies that Joe Douglas has told us over the years. We love this player. We're going to try to keep this player. Boom, he's gone. He's gone for a second round pick. And that, you can insert so many different players into that speak. Robert Saleh as well, just not giving any sort of clear messaging about a lot of players. So I'm gonna have to wholeheartedly agree. That was something I didn't even think of. That once you said it, I was like, oh yeah, the old regime, they were just a bunch of liars. And this regime, they've kept it 100. They definitely, you can't, you can't say otherwise. They've definitely kept it 100, which is definitely something that we can appreciate moving forward. And I know you probably addressed this yesterday or even this morning, Boy Green, about the Garrett thing. But one thing that I wanted to establish, especially because I feel like I kind of established myself as somebody who was nervous about overpaying Garrett Wilson. And I was like,
yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not trying to give him Jetta's money. I'm not trying to make him the highest paid wide receiver in football. So the number that they settled on is him fifth. Okay, it's above AJ Brown. I've been seeing, the non-Jets fans on social media, roasting the Jets for this deal. But as somebody who, again, I'm going to say it again, did not want to overpay Garrett Wilson and was very nervous about that, I don't think this was. I really don't think it was an overpay. What I would say is probably the highest that I was willing to go. But I think it's a good deal. And in like 3 years, when you see Malik Neighbors and a couple of these other guys, Drake London, I feel like it's somebody who is on course to break the bank with what's going on with Atlanta. That Garrett contract is not going to look too bad. And that's even if he stays at the same level that he's at right now. We're assuming that with more consistent QB play, whether that comes from Justin Fields or whoever else, that he will ascend statistically into that Garrett Wilson, into that Justin Jefferson level of statistical production. But even if he stays at Garrett, 1,100 yards and 6-ish TDs per year, that consistency, as we've seen from Mike Evans, is not anything worth scoffing at. So I would say any way you slice it, this is a really nice deal that will look even better in 2028 when we're talking about that next deal.
That last part of the puzzle you just said is what really just sort of rings home for me, is that when you look at where he is now, again, candidly, 32 and a half, that was a little richer than I thought we were going to go. And again, people are going to say maybe we're penny pitching here, but 30 was sort of the number for me. Like, let's talk about where it is. And there's inflation and percentages change on a year-to-year basis. What someone got a year or two ago is not the same deal that would be given now. Not the market, but the cap obviously is going up year to year. The new TV deals are affecting that, obviously, which puts everything into perspective. So it was a little higher, but it goes back to what you just said. He's fifth right now. That dude is going to be topped. 6, 7, 8, and we're just going to see him go boop, 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 and down the list. And Garrett's going to have, let's just say he stays the same, right? 100-something catches, give or take, 90, 100, whatever, 1,100 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns. Boom, boom, boom. We just see that keep happening. We're like, damn, look at all these people. Like, look at this receiver getting paid this. Look at this receiver getting paid this. It just feels so good to have that unlock. And that part of it, to me, is really a rewarding feeling. And I want to ask you a question, Wudi, because, and I've talked about this in a bunch of the shows, because I do stuff for the Man Show, Boy Green Digital, Boy Green Meets Wudi, Boy Green Daily. I'm all over the place, baby. A nice flex. I'm a big deal. But the point is that in December, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport came out with an article on a Sunday morning. And I remember like pulling up my digital newspaper before my Jets game. What do we got cooking here? And I go, wait a second, Garrett Wilson might request a trade. What in the world? And the story was from Ian Rappaport saying, hey, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Garrett Wilson might be thinking about a trade. And I'm like, what in the world? Well, okay, that decision's easy. Aaron, pack your bags. You're gone. I'm not jeopardizing Garrett Wilson for this. But so whatever, that story exists in December. We fast forward 8 months, and not only did Garrett Wilson not get frustrated enough to request a trade, he's here for the foreseeable future. He's here for the next 6 years. I ask you, Wudi, what do you think happened? Was it Aaron Glenn selling Garrett on the vision? Was it being reunited with his old college quarterback and he's all in his feels about it? Was it just a bag of money that said you're the top 5 highest paid? He's like, sure. Like Myles Garrett, it's all about championships for me. I'm above money. That's what it's all about. You're the highest paid pass rusher of all time. Where do I sign? Yeah, sorry. What about winning? I'm sorry. And Myles Garrett did the quickest back pedal I've ever seen. So I turn that to you. There's all these potential optionality out there. What changed Garrett Wilson's mind from December to July, where he was on the bridge, according to reports, of Audi to being here forever and a Jet for life?
Personally, and I think this, Boy Green, I never felt like Garrett was going to demand a trade, but I don't want to nullify the question. So to say he was upset with how things are going, I would agree with that. How things have been. I think he is a competitor. He is someone who has been accustomed to winning, and that was kind of with that draft class. That's what we knew, right? Like when you draft that many players in the first, second round, you're drafting guys who've been accustomed to winning their whole lives, and the losing kind of beats them down. Like my boy Quentin Williams, right? You got to pick yourself back up, or obviously turn things around. So I feel like Garrett, that frustration that we saw in December, has kind of been the same scenario every December. I feel that that's every December we're seeing Garrett, upset because they're not playing for a playoff spot or anything like that. So to answer your question of, given that situation, why he would sign here and potentially sign up for six more Decembers of just playing below the wild card, it has to be a change of belief. I don't think it's money. I know somebody said our guy Rick Shaw said it's money because he's gonna get money. He's Garrett Wilson. He's on that short list of 5 guys to have this many yards and catches his first 3 years. He's in New York, so it's almost like getting overvalued, right? So money is not like he's gonna get money regardless. I don't think the Jets outbid or anything. I think it's a change in the belief that he has in this franchise, and that clearly has to have come from the new regime of Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. Did Justin Fields help? I would imagine yes. But we'll see how that goes. Obviously, they're able to turn around Justin Fields, and now, I know you can imagine a world that Justin Fields is the QB the whole contract. Like that would be crazy. That would mean that we are cooking. If that is the case, that would only mean good things. It would mean that Justin Fields has turned it around. He's balling. Now we're talking about a franchise, QB if he's here 6 years, and just building on that relationship. So I would say it was a change in the belief. Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, he believes in their vision. He believes, he's seen what Tanner Engstrand has had to offer. I know that was one thing that I saw with Justin Jefferson when KOC first got there. He was like, damn, like I thought I was balling before, but now KOC is showing me, why Cooper Kupp was open, because that's where he came from. He came from the Rams. So same thing here, where maybe now Garrett is like, ooh, man, now I'm seeing why Amon Ra been getting so much, love in Detroit. Like, belief in all that in the future. I think that's been the change. But again, I don't think he was I personally don't believe he was going to request a trade.
All right, so Ian Rappaport is a stone cold liar. That's what you're saying, Woody.
I didn't say that, but I just don't think he was.
If the shoe fits, Cinderella. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Woody. Look at this, our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby, with a $2 Euro super chat.
Hey.
I like the creativity, baby, and I know with the words that are in this what he wants. And I'm a man of the people. I'll give you what you want. Here you go.
Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Thank you, diehard Jets fan, Kevin James. Thank you for the super chat as well. Coming in here, our number one Austrian Jet fan, thank you so much. And now feels like a better time than any here, Woodster, to promote the crap out of the biggest giveaway in both of our channels' histories here on the program. And people, I want you guys to take advantage of this historic giveaway. Here is what we're giving away. And I'll try not to skip through things because some people may be watching this for the very first time. So I want to make sure you guys get the full flower. This is what me and Wudi are giving away together. 2 tickets to the Jets-Cowboys game. That is Section 228A. You will be with 50 screaming Boy Green and Wudi fans all together watching the game. You will win 2 tickets to that. 2 tailgate tickets. That is catered food by Chef Kevin Gilbert and water and select alcohol before the game. 2 Jets-Cowboys commemorative t-shirts. That everything I just said is a $600+ value that you have a chance to win for $20 and a couple of free things. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's free to do. That is, and if you're watching on one of the other streams, my Instagram, my Twitter, Woody's Instagram, Woody's YouTube, okay? If you're not on this one, it's YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Subscribe to that channel. It's Jets content every day. Hopefully that's something you vibe with as you're watching Check's Notes, a Jet show. Okay? Make sure you subscribe to Wudi's channel. That is Take Flight Talk. It's all New York Jets in Wudi's vision. It's simulcast. This show, obviously, that we do together. And, of course, Wudi has all kinds of other Jets takes that you can catch on that program as well. So subscribe to that channel. Again, that's free to do. Now, here's where the money comes in. You submit a $20 raffle ticket. You can do it by purchasing things on YouTube, super chats, super stickers, memberships being gifted, things of that nature. Or just PayPal or Venmo, $20 to me at BoyGreen25. Put your first and last name, a good email for you because I want to be able to reach out to you if you win the contest, and that this is indeed for the Jets-Cowboys contest. So if you do those things, you'll be entered into the giveaway. This giveaway is happening throughout the entire month of July, so you still got another 2 weeks. You don't have to rush to your wallets right now, but make sure you remember this is the giveaway that's going on. It's an awesome opportunity. It's an awesome moment for people. NFL games are expensive. I say that every week. They are. To take you and a person with you, whoever you want, brother, sister, cousin, nephew, that's up to you to decide. Okay? That's the power's in your hands. Okay? The power is yours. Didn't know I'd go Captain Planet on you, but there you go. Okay? And that it is. You can pick who goes with you and enjoy that entire opportunity. So again, with that being said, $20 raffle ticket. Send it in, baby. Have a chance. One of my coolest memorabilia items, I was talking about this on Boy Green Daily, is right here. It's the New York Jets sack exchange helmet signed by the entire group, and some of them no longer with us. Abdul Salam, the Soldier of Peace. And how did I get this multi-$100 value helmet? I submitted a $20 raffle ticket. I shit you not. They took 15 or 20 slots, $20 a slot. It's good luck to the football gods who wins it. And I have a 4-leaf clover shoved up my ass, so I ended up winning it. And it was awesome. You have a chance to win something even bigger value-wise in this giveaway. So I hope you guys take full advantage of it, and we'll continue to promote it, Woodster, throughout the rest of the month.
Absolutely. This is the halfway point. All right. So this is the halftime, entertainment. We're about to get Red Panda up on here. And, you got the second half. Second half to submit as many tickets as you'd like to get this value in your hands. $600 value in your hands. We got some questions or some comments.
We do. Let me get to this one first here. I see Rick Shaw says, how many people have entered the raffle? The scrolling ticker gives you that answer. We have number one Austrian Jet fan. We have Scotty Mayhem, DNY for life, G-Man the prophet for Jets football. Bad shots. Gets me a little bit.
Oil change.
Hear me out. Jets worldwide. Wide. For Lily and Big D. James Caffiero. Mother effing Chew, Dre Correa, Indy Jets, and Alon. That's a group. That may sound like a lot, but to be honest, it's not. Everyone that has a ticket has a chance. It will be up to the random wheel of name picker to select. And here's a little note. You can buy multiple raffle tickets if you want. And again, as long as you don't buy $600 of raffle tickets, you're getting a deal. Because if you win, as long as it doesn't cost you $600, then you're getting a kick out of it. So several people, as you can see down below, have bought multiple raffle tickets to increase their chances. That's all fair game. So Rick, Sean, anyone else that would like to hop on that train, feel free to do so. I'll start off here, Woody, because I don't think you can see it on my side. I have an Instagram question for you, and I want to throw it up here on the channel. And this is from Fuzzy. Oh, boy. Let me see if I can. Oh boy. I'm sorry, Fuzzy, whoever you are. I won't be able to get your full name now because Instagram scrolled down. I can't catch it now. I'll try to see if I can go to my Instagram feed to give you a shout out in a second. But he asked, do you believe, guys, that Woody Johnson has stepped out of the way and that has led to all of these deals and things happening, that this is a sign that the keys have been fully given to Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji? Is that a sign of this, or are we overreacting to that, Woody?
Damn, what a question. That's a great question, Fuzzy. I would be surprised if Woody was against re-signing them. I really would. I don't think Woody, he's rocked the sauce chain. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that no, this is not a sign not to say that he's still heavily involved. Obviously, we hope that he stepped back, but I wouldn't look at this and say, "Oh, yeah, this is a sign that he stepped back," because I think these are two moves that he would have wanted to make.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. Again, obviously, they got to check with Woody. Hey, you willing to pay these figures? So, like, he's a key piece of that process. But no, I don't think we're going to know that sort of stuff until we reach adversity inevitably in the season. Because Woody has already told us this, but I'll reiterate it. Folks, we're not going 17-0. I know. There's some of you out there that believe we are. And you know what? Maybe that we will. But more likely than not, we won't. So when adversity inevitably hits, who is Aaron Glenn? Who is Darren Mucci? What moves are they making? What are they saying in the press conferences? Is all of a sudden doubt being cast by the media saying, I don't know, this Aaron Glenn guy doesn't sound like he knows what the fuck is going on. Is that sort of stuff happening? Is locker room unrest? Is Woody hovering by the big red button in his office going, you know what? I think I can help these guys out. Yeah, move over, Aaron Glenn. Move over, Mucci. I don't know. I don't think these contracts give that sign. I think it's an investment, and Woody gets a lot of shit, and so be it. He's done some things that require that sort of thing. He has always invested in this team, man. He has opened up the checkbook for splash moves. He's opened up the checkbook when players have needed to be resigned, and that has happened here. Now, you could say, well, where has that been the last decade? Have you seen the Jets draft people? What do you mean, where's that been? Where's the players been worthy of being paid, Ben? Not here. Magic Johnson, we're not going to be there. They haven't been. So, to me, I think that's a piece. So, right. So, Fuzzy, phenomenal question, but I don't think this necessarily answers it, Woodster.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to address Rick Shaw's point. He actually also then said, please read the comment about the other fan bases. Other teams and fan bases don't view Garrett the same way as Jets fans. They view him as a Jalen Waddle equivalent. There's a couple things to say about that. One is that Jalen Waddle got paid. Like when Waddle got his contract, he was in the top 5 for a wide receiver. So that alone should actually prove my point. But just to go further into it, we've gone on record and we've heard coaches like Bill Belichick hype up Garrett's skill set. I think the general consensus across the league is that we have not seen his best yet. Whether Jets fans, think his best is even better than, what the rest of the league thinks. That remains to be seen. But I think we all, 32 fan bases can agree we have not seen his best. This is a dynamic player. And people pay high dollars for dynamic players.
That they do. I'll go back to Rick Shaw here to answer a couple of these about the contest related. First off, he says, I've decided that I would like to be selected as the winner of the raffle. Where can I expect to receive my free tickets? That's interesting. I didn't know that's how that worked, but we'll get back to you on that of selecting yourself. I believe that'll be up to random gods. Rick Shaw says, does the 24 next to Austrian Jet fans name mean he purchased 24 raffle tickets? It does. So Austrian has been quite aggressive in that respect. But I would say this. For anyone that may see that number be deterred, I'm not entering this contest. I could lose. I don't want to do it for Austrian's sake because, I'm sure I don't think he's doing it just to win the raffles. I think he's doing it to support the show. But Austrian, believe it or not, has not won every raffle just because he's had the most tickets. That's the game of randomness and the cool thing about it. That's awesome. So, no, he did buy 24 raffle tickets, but to be honest, Austrian has not won every contest. If you watch on a month-to-month basis, someone actually last month won with 2 tickets, Woody, to a contest that had 500 people that entered. Someone who bought only 2 Boyd Green Coffee Club memberships, which is $6, and YouTube takes 30% of each of those $3 commitments. That person won the entire contest. So, it's random. And I think that's cool for the people because anyone has a chance if you submit a raffle ticket in. So I hope that's the motivational message there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta get a ticket to have a chance. Next comment.
Yes.
I wanted to highlight. This is on via Take Flight Talk. You already know, like Boy Green said, we talking live, and I'm always sharing my takes, sharing some memes when I can on Take Flight Talk from my guy Dano from the Danger Zone. Is $120 million enough incentive to carry Brandon Stevens every Sunday? Hey, we might not even have to worry about it because my guy AC Thomas might just leapfrog, just leapfrog Brandon Stevens in that depth chart. And that's I guess that's something that we'll talk about when we get to the topic we were originally scheduled to talk about today. I'm assuming Thursday, unless Mr. Bradshaw gets his wish about Jadeveon Clowney, barring any news like that, we'll talk about it on Thursday, and you'll hear my thoughts on Brandon Stevens potentially starting on Sunday.
So I'll save my commentary as well for that show upcoming. I will bring a couple more questions up. We have a couple of them here on it. Johnny Boy says, do we need to wear clothes to the tailgate? That's up to the Jets, I suppose. I guess you could do whatever you want. Not sure if I'm going to be wanting to be going Free Willy in the wind, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. Bubba Badshaw here says, what do you guys think the next big move will be? I don't know if it happens before the season here, Badshaw, but we talked about this, I believe, on the morning show. The next person to be paid or to be looked at to be paid is John Simpson and Elijah Vera Tucker, the two guards. If I'm AVT, unless the Jets are making me one of the highest paid offensive linemen in football, I'm probably not taking their deal, whatever it is, because I can reach free agency as a 26-year-old and get paid a bag of money. So if I'm AVT, or even if I want to come back to the Jets, I can make sure I get the most money from the Jets possible. So I don't know if AVT even signs back, even if the Jets give him a deal on the table. The one to watch to me, I think, is John Simpson. I think he's found something here with the Jets. He looked like initially he was going to spin out of the league because things weren't going well. Obviously, things have clicked here. He was awesome last year for the New York Jets. You don't want to reach the offseason and have 4 or 5 free agents that are all really good. And you're like, oh, shit, we have one franchise tag to use. And now they can all collude, for lack of a better word, get together and say, hey, they got to pay. They can't franchise tag all of us. Like, we can all try to figure out our money. So I think it would behoove the Jets to be proactive here and try to pay John Simpson. Is that a John Franklin Myers deal where it's week 4, 5, 6 where he gets paid? I don't know, but I think that's the next big one. Possibly. Wudi, what do you think is the next big move?
Games are won and lost in the trenches, so I think that offensive line is definitely a place to look at, especially since all the other positions are secured. I would agree that we're probably done hearing about extensions, before week 1. John Simpson, I would just hate to overreact to 1 year. Like, I feel like, I would need to see more before we're talking about long-term. Unless they somehow, we talking, 3 years, 12 mil, then okay, let's do it. But if, he's trying to be, which I would imagine, right, everybody, is trying to get paid, especially when you finish, a certain number in the PFF rankings. Now you want to be paid like somebody who just finished at a certain number in the PFF rankings. So, John Simpson specifically, I would probably want to see another year before, okay, now we can invest. Because obviously there's not unlimited money. We just gave out big deals to Sauce, to Garrett. Sure, now we got, a couple of people. And then even Quinnen, right? We're talking about people who are in the top, for their position in the league. We can't just keep doing that for every position, So I think with the bargain, if John is willing to take a deal like that, okay, I feel like that's an easier one to commit to. And then with AVT, to Boy Green's point, could be pricing himself out. I think, if AVT has a spectacular season, it would be really, really hard. Because like you said, that's a 26-year-old first-round pick who, would be on a trajectory to be an all-pro and, consistent all-pro. So that might be someone that we end up losing. If there was one that I was pushing to sign now, it would be AVT, because right now, his value is at the lowest. It can only get higher, right? You can dog him. Oh, injuries, right? Availability. Like, you can dog him for all these things. Oh, no Pro Bowls. I think all that stuff is happening in the future. So if anything, I would sign AVT now, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're content with what they have right now. But special shout out to my guys, the fellow 2022 draft mates, Jermaine Johnson and Brees Hall. I don't think they're going to get extended this year. I mean, definitely not, I would say, this offseason. Right. But next year, that's a conversation that needs to be had. And, I'm rooting for them both. I want those guys to join their classmates, Sauce and Garrett, and I want them to grow and be Jets for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I would also say another point on the AVT thing, right? He's been forced to play guard, so he's played 4 of the 5 offensive line positions for the Jets. The only one he has not played is center, and he's played all over the place. There is more money at tackle than there is at guard. AVT looked good at tackle. Elijah Vera, tackle. Okay, so I could imagine he gets to free agency, and an offensive tackle needy team's like, AVT, here's a bag of money to play tackle. You want to play tackle again? He's like, how much? Yes, I do. See you, Jets. Because the Jets, right, we have Armand Membo and Olin Fashanu. There's no tackle future if that's what AVT wants to do. If he wants to make the most money and he wants to play tackle, well, I got some, Wade Barrett, I've got some bad news for you. Well, the bad news is I just don't know if that's going to happen. So the allure of offensive tackle land is another one where I'm like, oh boy, that could potentially lead to some potential issues there from that perception. So we'll see what happens there as well. And I'm trying to see if I missed any other. Do you have any questions on your side, Wudi, that you want to get to before?
No, I think that was the last one that I see. Shout out to my guy Calvin Corley in the building on my IG. Definitely rooting for your cousin. That's another person who if we did our originally scheduled. So Calvin, I hope you rock with us on Thursday, and we will definitely be talking about your cousin on that day.
Yeah, and feel free to join us. Yeah, feel free to jump on the show. I'm all for Corley extravaganza. Let's go, baby. That would be absolutely exceptional from that standpoint. I'll just go to this on EZ's point, who was bringing it up. Appreciate Easy and everyone else who's been sending in your questions or comments. Shout out to the people on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. On just my side alone, we have 300 people in the room, plus everyone Wudi has on his side as well, with 5 destinations happening here on the program. The big one coming up, Wudi, we haven't talked about this, but Mason Taylor is unsigned. He's one of 30 out of 32 second-round picks that have not signed their deals. The rookies are set to report in 4 days on Saturday. What's your level of concern here on the Mason Taylor situation?
It's not high. I know, they messed it up, but, guaranteed or having the fully guaranteed contract kind of changed, maybe the future of the NFL. And I feel like that's kind of a landmark deal that kind of has caused the other teams to kind of be in the scenario where, okay, are we going to, also offer a fully guaranteed deal or not? And I think that's, we're just in that limbo right now. I don't think it's a situation where, there's going to be any bad blood. I think it's more of just figuring out the market. Has it, has those deals, changed, the business for a second round pick, or is it just, we're going to find a way to, move on and let those deals be the outliers. So I think it's more of a market issue. It's definitely not a Mason Taylor issue. I have no ill thoughts or takes on his stance. And I think they're going to get it done. And I don't think the Jets have done anything wrong either. I think they're just going to get it done depending on how the market plays out.
And then last piece of that puzzle, do you have any interest in Jadeveon Clowney, the former number 1 overall pick, Mr. Dreadlocks himself? Anything for the one and only superstar guy that I love, Jadeveon Clowney?
I think you already knew I had a lot of love, or I still have a lot of love for him. I was definitely very big on signing him last year when it seemed like, we was bringing everybody and their mama for 1 year, just one huge push toward the Super Bowl. Given what we know about Aaron Glenn, absolutely despise and just having a huge prejudice against people over the age of 25. And then, where the franchise is as a whole. I don't see Clowney fitting in like at all. Like he's, too old for AG. He, doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. I know he just came from the Panthers, but that was his home. He was getting grandma's cooking and then going to the game. So, that's not at all the scenario here in New York. So I just don't see it being a fit on either side.
Fair enough. I'm a big Clowney fan, but we'll see what happens. I mean, some people turn out the lights on the possibility of Clowney, and some people turn out the lights on Wudi. Either way, we try to power through. And if they sign Jadeveon Clowney, I ain't gonna be mad at it. I'd sort of like that depth if we could get there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not here. I'm definitely not gonna be mad. I'll be hyped actually. But yeah, I just it's just not something I foresee.
Yes. Well, something I do foresee is training camp's right around the corner, Woodster. And it's exciting to know that these two situations are lock and key. The only thing that'll be coming is happy-go-lucky when both of them, I imagine, have their own sort of press conferences to sort of talk about these extensions, which will be coming, I imagine, within the next week before practices truly get underway. So, they can kiss the baby, sign the autographs, and and give the thank yous to the families and everything else for being pillars of this team. Again, I'm still pinching myself, Wudi, because even when the alert came yesterday, when I was in a McDonald's drive-thru, and I said, "Oh, Garrett Wilson signed," or I'm here at the computer saying, "Oh, boy, give me Wudi." Here we go. I'm like, "Whoa, sauce!" Like as these are coming in, I'm like pinching myself because it still doesn't feel real. I'm wearing the jersey. We just apparently talked for 51 minutes about it, but it just. I don't know. Like, I don't know when it's going to hit that both of these guys are here long term. Because, like I said, we as Jet fans are not programmed for the Jets to draft players that are worth being something and then being signed, and other teams around the league going, damn, man, they got Sauce. Damn, man, they got Garrett. Like, people being jealous of our additions, jealous of our signings. And we should pour one out, Wudi. I forgot to mention this at the top. Garrett Wilson being a Denver Bronco, or Garrett Wilson being a Carolina Panther, all these teams that did jersey swaps at Garrett Wilson and said, he's going to demand a trade out of there. Can't wait till he leaves the Jets. I just want to pour one out for all the people that spend time on those jersey swaps about Garrett leaving, Sauce leaving. How do I put this politically correct? They're not fucking going anywhere, baby.
They not going anywhere. And again, that's like you just said, Boy Green, it's super exciting as a Jet fan to have these homegrown guys just solidify their future, their 20s, to have their 20s with us. And like you said, as a Jets fan for a long time, we've been getting all these rentals. We renting, bad draft picks or decent draft picks, or old guys with, some, almost nothing left to give. Shout out to like Matt Forte, Frank Gore, Le'Veon, but like all those type of guys. But not this time. Now we have, like I said before in the beginning, the Garrett Wilson era, the Sauce era, the fact that they're going to keep making each other better for years and years to come. This is a beautiful time to be a Jet fan. If they can, just get the, some of the other positions around them better, or more secure. Then this, this is how you, right? We've built a foundation, right? These guys are foundational pieces. Quinnen Williams right up there too. So now let's start building up from that foundation, and who knows what the future holds, how many playoff appearances we see, during these 6 years. And for Garrett, shout out to Matt O'Leary. I believe he was the one who posted that if Garrett just had 843 yards throughout that contract, he would be the second leading receiver in New York Jets history. I mean, what he has done by signing this deal is secure his place as an all-time great Jet.
That sort of got me to laugh. It's like, Paul, you're only 1,000 home runs away from having a Hall of Fame career. Oh, thank you. Like, I
840, but 843 is light work. That's what he's been doing
over 6 years. Like, that's a long time, and that's a lot of
over 3 years he's had. That's what I'm saying. Like 840,
right? But we're extrapolating, right? 3 to 6. So he's been on this percentage of the journey, and boy, if he just keeps doing this or a little less to the 843 point, but he's going to be here. Like, whoa, like, let's enjoy. But here it is, because like now I'm going to sound like a hypocrite with the question I'm about to ask you, Wudi, because you just mentioned like iron sharpen iron. I love that we still have that Hard Knocks clip. I know how people feel about the season that ended up happening after Hard Knocks, but the Sauce Garrett battles of them going talking shit all mic'd up, this is way over the top. But Wudi, are we looking at like two potential Hall of Fame talents here that we're in this moment right now? We can't see it because we're in the forest, right? The trees, forest, all that. We're right here. But do we step back in 20 years and go, holy shit, did we know in the moment that we have these two superstar players at the height of their powers and they're making each other better? There's innate stuff there that doesn't exist in other places. The Jets have this because they're both drafted in the same class. Are we dealing with like Hall of Fame guys right here? But they're just at the early part of what could be this very Hall of Fame career.
Definitely hypocritical based on what you just said, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Sauce has already, done some things to make that claim,
right?
And Garrett, he's on that list of 5.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm not sure if like, for example, is Odell a Hall of Famer? I don't think Odell's a Hall of Famer.
Definitely
Michael Thomas. Yeah, Michael Thomas definitely not.
that ain't it.
Yeah, so it would be nice. What I do think, and what I can confidently say, sure. I can confidently say it right now, is that what we're looking at is 2 Jets Ring of Honor players.
For sure.
But Hall of Fame, yeah, we're gonna have to chill. We're gonna have to chill on that. But 2 Jets Ring of Honor players making themselves better to get, to become part of that ring. That's what we're seeing.
Let's do 2 comments and then we'll wrap up the show here, Wudi. Mm-hmm. First off, just to address Badshaw here, Paul, will you and Lurch do a video about Sauce like y'all did with Garrett Wilson last night? Yes, there will be additional content. If you're on my YouTube channel right now, the Man Shut Show of Boy Green direct YouTube channel is down below. My radio show is no more. It is now transformed to a digital product. So shortly after me and Wudi get off here, it is very likely that we will go live again and take your phone calls for reactions to the Sauce Gardner stuff. That'll be live stream on my YouTube channel and the Man Shut Show of Boy Green. So yes, Badshaw. Yes, it very much, very likely looks like that will be happening. And I do want to give a massive shout out here to our guy, Indy Jets, who's commenting on the Take Flight Talk YouTube channel, who's saying, I was a day off of the announcement. Indy mentioned this week and this morning that he thought the Sauce Gardner deal was done, but out of respect, they were separating the days so everyone sort of had their own moment. Like, hey, this puppy's done. We're just, hey, man, like, and for content creators, I thank you very much to split it all up. But like specifically for this to let them have their own days. And I kind of went like, if in my head, I didn't really believe it. I was like, well, if it's done, it's done. Like, would they really worry to that level of like, geez, you guys have to share it a little bit? But obviously it appears like it was so. Like Sauce had his statement ready. He was the one to break the news to the world that he signed. And then all the numbers started coming in on that. So yeah, a massive salute to Indy Jets. You killed it, man. Absolutely.
Hey, anytime we can shout out my guy, Indy. I'm all for it. So great job with the crystal ball. Does your crystal ball have any information on Tyrese Halliburton? Playing 0 games this upcoming season.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell? Oh.
0 games for number 0 on the Indiana Pacers.
That's fucked up, man.
Oh my God! But he called it with the extension. So great job, Indy. What the hell?
Wow. There's no way to transition from that. So the best way is to just say, God bless everybody. Thank you for tuning in for Boy Green Meets Wudi. You'll notice that the stream that was created for today's show was not deleted. It was just kicked we punted, you know, and hopefully we're not doing a lot of that this season. But we chose to punt on that, went to Thursday at 3 o'clock to continue that series. And it sort of works out anyway because rookies report on Saturday, the 19th, veterans report on the 22nd, and then the practice is after that. So we should be able to get in both of our training camp preview shows in before we even get there. Training camp / season predictions conversation coming in. So it should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. And come on now, enjoy the day because the Jets Foundation is secured.
Last thing here, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe if you're watching on my YouTube channel or Wudi's YouTube channel, Take Flight Talk. And then one more plug for this real quick, a fast-forwarded version. Again, enter our contest. It's going on throughout the entire month of July. 2 tickets, Jets Cowboys, 2 tailgate tickets, 2 Jets Cowboys t-shirts. All you have to do is subscribe to me and Wudi's YouTube channels and send in a $20 raffle ticket to have an opportunity, baby, to win all of those prizes that we mentioned. So I can't wait. Baby. Wudi, thanks, brother, and we'll catch you on Thursday.
Absolutely. Let's go, Jets.
That's the only way. One of these for J-Boy on the way out.
What I do know, we're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Good night, everybody.